Hi, doesn't it? Hello.
Hey guys, how's it going? Sorry we're a minute or two late. We were getting in some last touches and having computer problems. So we're on my phone right now and we turned it sideways. So if anyone joins and sees us sideways, will you please let us know?
Actually, I can look on my own phone
Oh,
and see.
Jamie's going to check on her own phone. So there you go. So welcome back to Family Friday. We're going to be doing this every week. You know, we're talking about rhythms and schedules, and everyone's been coming to us for advice. Oh, good. We look okay. We've been coming to us for advice on family stuff. Obviously, we've been teaching family stuff for about 10 years together now, and I think people like that we teach it because we're not
Hey, Jay.
perfect at it. Hey, Jay Fasek, good to see you, buddy. So, we're going to get into a couple of things. First off, I just want to tell you what's going on with us. We've been doing an interview series that we knew we were supposed to start a long time ago, but we felt the timing was perfect, called Candid Conversations. And this is with people close to us who are also thought leaders. Our good friend Philip McKernan, that I've been buddies with for 10 years, started off the interview series. If you haven't watched that interview, I'd highly recommend it. We came across some things where, as parents, we might be putting our own worries ahead of our kids and downing our kids' worries as if they're nothing. And I think that's really bad to do because, you know, what's going through the eyes of me, a 45-year-old, might seem big, but for how can I discount a 15-year-old and what they're going through?
Jen.
Good to see you, buddy. Oh, and Jen there too. So Philip's interview was great. We're going to be releasing an interview with our good friend Tim Story. And if you know who Tim Story is, he's an incredible author, speaker, and coach. He has taken people back from the brink of death in some of the biggest cases you've ever heard. I know that Robert Downey Jr. gives Tim a huge amount of credit for his turnaround of almost losing his life, which kudos to Tim. He's been a great coach and friend to us. And we got into how do you have a comeback? And that's going to be coming out as well. And then also our friend Den DePani, who, again, I've been friends with about 10 years, spent a lot of family time with him on some other things. The interview series is going really well. It's called Candid Conversations. And
we discuss everything from, I mean, these people have families, but we also discuss, business principles and, how integrating all of these things can not only increase, your family life and your business life. So it kind of speaks to both since most of us are, busy professionals and also parents.
Yes.
So, but this week, Tim Story is the one that's coming out.
Yeah, so Tim's Story's coming out today.
Okay.
Every Friday we'll be here for you guys at 11, going over some bigger stuff and then releasing an interview. So that way you can kind of know where we are on Fridays. That's going to be the day we're really giving you guys information that I think if you chew on, it's going to be helpful. Today we're going to be talking about rhythms and schedules, going a little deeper into that. But something important that I wanted to start at, because we've had a lot of things. We're always going to share stuff in our own family life and things that, hey, there's Cam. So anything that we're dealing with people that we're in coaching or in contact with. And I wanted to get back to the simplicity of an apology. We all have rough times. I know our friend Denapani, who was a Hindu monk, was even saying, I was a grumpy monk because he's trapped in New York in an apartment with his 18-month-old who he loves and his wife. But there's some stressful times.
A lot going on.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts. And we're probably going to be a little short and grumpy here and there. That happens. Here's what I've learned, if anything, and Jamie will probably attest this. I am far from perfect. But
No,
I'm
Hey,
kidding.
Steven.
I'm perfect. Hey, Steven, good to see you, buddy. So one thing I've gotten really good at, though, and there's lots of other things I have to work on, though, is the art of an apology. A disagreement or a grumpy moment can last 15 minutes or 2 days. We all know that.
Ask us how we know.
Yeah, exactly. I've tried it both ways, and I'm proud to say that was years ago. But now we have a new approach. We try to apologize
Quickly.
sincerely and quickly, because what that can do for the marriage, for the relationship with your kids, for the overall harmony of the home is huge. Yeah, we all get into ourselves and we say, oh, I'm working so hard. Don't you understand this? Again, we can discount what the other person is going through and we're going to get short and grumpy. Again, none of us are going to get through this perfect. None of us are going to get through this without grumpiness probably. But one of the best offenses and defenses I've seen is a sincere apology that's given without that, well, I'm sorry that you're just overwhelmed and not feeling well. No backhanded apologies. I've tried those too over the years. Those don't work very well. But a sincere one saying, you know what, I was overwhelmed and short and that's not fair and I apologize. I'm sorry. And then usually an apology with me and Jamie always ends with a big hug. because touch is really important, I think, to both of us, especially Jamie. So it goes a long way.
Right.
So if we're willing just to apologize fast and sincerely, and again, know we're all still learning, I think that's a huge thing. Because honestly, hey, Rach, it's just not, it doesn't, rhythms and schedules are going to fly out the window if there's bad emotions and there's separation and no one's willing to step up and apologize. And there's times you might not feel like it, but I can't remember one time where I've gotten grumpy or out of line. Hey, Missy, say hi to Yannick too. I can't remember one time that I got grumpy and out of line and then I actually slowed down and apologized that I didn't feel better in the next 15 minutes, half hour later, because it can just reverse everything, right?
Yeah, and this totally goes for definitely your children and also your team. So just being mindful that, we're all on a path together, and that the whole schedule, the whole routine, everything is going to work better if you can sincerely say, I'm sorry, or I could have done that better. Just reflecting and being human. It works really well with teenagers. I don't know if they'd admit it, but it really does, believe it or not, and it just kind of takes that friction out of any relationship, whether it's business, professional, within your family, but to be able to just say, I may have been a little cranky.
I'm thinking of the story, which they might have heard, when Alden and Leland got in trouble for something, and we were talking to him, and Alden goes, yeah, like Leland, Dad messes up all the time, but he always gives like that sincere apology. So I was like, yeah, right? Well, I don't know if that's a backhanded compliment or not. But anyway, as simple as that sounds, with what we're all going through, yeah. Right,
well, and it kills productivity too. Well, and morale overall, because if you think if we get off task together, and then I kind of enter into my business, you enter into your business, or with the children, and then we're cranky or distant because it's within ourselves, and then the people that we're around naturally will internalize and think, oh, well, maybe I do something? Are they upset with me too? And so it just continues a negative spiral instead of just being able to cut the shit and be like, I was wrong.
Exactly. The power of an apology.
Or maybe not even wrong.
I was short. I was worked up about something that's not about you. I'm sorry. This is what I was dealing with. Just an explanation and an apology, though. But
goes a long way.
Goes a long way. And this is something really important for you guys to know. Do not think you're immune from an apology. Some entrepreneurs like myself in years past, do you know how hard I'm working? Do you know what I'm doing? And we could say in the more classic role, Jamie and I work in the businesses and that I'm holding up our real estate investment company, but she's definitely the head honcho of the home. She could feel the same way. Do you not see with what I'm doing with the kids and all these things I'm having to pull together?
I think resentment is a common thing we're hearing right now that's really building.
Yeah.
Because those roles are just getting muddy in some ways and then super definite in other ways, where there's that strictness where it's like, oh, well, you have to work all the time, but I'm in the home all the time. Yeah. So just that grace and courtesy and extending an apology, but also gracefully receiving an apology, I think is important too, because if you're like, I knew you were such a jerk, but instead knowing that tomorrow you're going to be the one that needs to apologize. How often do we go back and forth and go, well, yesterday when you said sorry, I was so kind and welcomed you and gave you so
I think we'll move on from this, but we wanted to really hit, none of us, not me, not Jamie, we're not immune from apologies. You don't get immunity because you're working hard in either the home or the business or both. Just if you'll sincerely apologize and do it quickly, we're just seeing so much better progress when we do that. And it's still a work in progress, but we've gotten so much better at that, and it really helps. So, and setting that stage, let's talk a little bit about rhythms and schedules.
Yeah, because when you apologize and your team and your family are running smoothly, you're able to hit your schedule and your rhythms much better and in much better stride than if you're all disoriented.
Yes. So rhythms and schedules. We had a great talk again with our friend Denapani. A lot of you might know him. And we talked about, people say, how we set these rhythms in our family, these schedules. Gosh, you guys are so rehearsed, so practiced. There's no freedom there. There's no fun. And I asked Denapani this, and he said something that again, this is coming from a Hindu monk and from Jocko Wilkins. There's a meltdown right there. From Jocko Wilkins, we read it with the boys' Way of the Warrior Kid. I'm a big fan of Jocko and Denapani. They couldn't be more different, but they share a core value where they basically say discipline equals freedom. And when we'll set these schedules, not to have your whole life laid out completely, but have some markers, some framework, it's going to change this. Now, we all know and we've seen the jokes, hey, Karen, I don't want to see your schedule. I want to drink by 2 o'clock. And those are funny and they're good. But the one thing, again, with the perfectionist, especially of entrepreneur families I know, I tried to schedule, it fell apart in 2 days. We just now are in total chaos. You got to revise. Don't give up on setting a schedule. There's things that aren't going to work. Could you imagine, I tried my first business model and it failed, so I'm done. I'm not going to have my own business. That'd be insane. So don't do that to yourself when you're dealing with your schedule. Set something up and realize we're all still learning. None of us have been in this before, but keep trying to work that schedule. Now, what really are the guiding posts in my schedule? They're set rhythms. And let me explain a rhythm to me. People have been seeing every morning I get up, Jamie and I do a simple affirmation and prayer, and I meditate to a Deepak Chopra or my own TM, and then I walk across to the beach to see the sunrise. When I keep that rhythm, my days goes better. If I don't, it doesn't. And that is a rhythm in my life. It keeps the drum beating in the best way possible. We now have a rhythm too where I'm turning off my phone from 5:30 to 7:30. Sometimes it goes 6 to 8, but 5:30 to 7:30. I'm not saying you guys have to do that long, but mine goes off for that. So I'm just right now talking about, the importance of a schedule of revising, don't give up.
Yeah.
And then rhythms are kind of what help fill the schedule. Some things that we do all the time. We're setting dinner
Anchors,
at the same
kind
time.
of islands of consistency, things
Islands
that
of
you know
consistency.
that no matter what happens in the day, it's still there. So for us, we have, this is an immediate example because we're having a meltdown right now. So we have brother time every day for 1 hour. And I'm like winded from running up and down the stairs.
Hey, I'm sure they get that.
Okay, so brother time happens every day, and the kids, the younger ones really look forward to brother time. Ooh, when's brother time? Do we get brother time once today? Do we get brother time twice? And our general rhythm is that they have brother time for 1 hour a day, and the younger ones really look forward to it.
They love it. They look so forward to it.
Yeah, so we schedule our Facebook Lives, our interviews, our podcasts during brother time so that we can both be on, but a lot of times one of us gets pulled out because the brothers are, normal teenagers. So that's one of our rhythms. So the big boys and the toddlers and us know that every day we can count on that 1 hour. The boys have to be available. The babies get to really look forward to it. And you and I are like, we got 1 hour to take care of some stuff together at the same time. And so that would be an island of consistency, a rhythm that we always do. Most days that time falls between 10 and 12. Some days it's beyond our control and we have to schedule that time a different time. And so when you talk about the difference between schedules and rhythms, a schedule is on a time basis. It's based on what time it is. A rhythm is something that you know is always going to happen. So for example, brother time happens every day of the week. Dinner time happens somewhere between 5:30 and 6:30. So we know we're going to eat dinner every day. We have a set menu every week.
Yeah, talk about the set menu real quick. I think that's a good one where, again, discipline equals freedom. So we learned this from Jamie's training years ago, where, again, we have Mexican Monday. I love Mexican Monday.
Used to be Taco Tuesday.
We moved it to Mexican Monday. But so we have a set meal for every, like a theme for every day of the week, during the week. And that might sound boring, but there's different recipes and things that can be done within that.
It helps me so much to know, like, I have the same shopping list each week pretty much, like rice on Wednesday. It might be a curry, it might be a Mexican, it might be fried rice, but it's rice on Wednesday and then pizza Friday, and so that kind of simplifies and everybody knows what to expect.
This simplifies the schedule. So when you're now figuring out your kids' schooling and this and that, you take these other details out. It gives you more ability and focus to do that. And again, we're talking about big chunks, things that you can do over and over. Like, I never get bored of having that rhythm of seeing the sunrise. I just don't think it's going to happen. And that's really important to me. And now I'm sharing it with you guys. But for me, does that take away my freedom and my enjoyment? No, it actually propels it forward. Our dinner time where it's just us. Hey, Amber, when we're just all shut off. You guys can't reach us during dinner time. My phones, the news, our tablets, laptops, they're all off for dinner time.
For
we
us
ask
and the
questions.
kids.
Us and the kids and the teens. Yeah, everyone's off. And I think we look forward to that. We have some good humor, some good jokes. Yeah, there's some meltdowns or teen grumpiness once in a while, but at least it's consistent.
Yeah, and that kind of takes away anxiety or confusion. Because for an example, if you always know what to expect, then that just takes that anxiety off of, oh gosh, well, what am I cooking for dinner tonight? Oh, well, I know it's Mexican Monday, so it's got to involve something that, so, but going back to what happens with that anxiety and that expectation, I remember one day you and I had interviews. It was like week 2, and we had interviews like all over the place, and it was just a little bit of a wonky day. And Maggie lost her cool with Sammy about midday and just got very physical with him. And we were like, what is going on? And she said, I just feel so confused when I don't know what's going on. Can you tell me what's happening? And
this is our 5-year-old.
This is our 5-year-old. She's so wise. And I really took that like, wow, that was just so wise of her to be able to ask that and say, she says, I feel a little uncertain and grumpy when I don't know what's going to happen. And so the next morning, when she woke up, the first thing she said is, what are we doing today? Are we going to have brother time? And so as we were talking about it, she said, because remember, Mommy, if I don't really know what's happening, it makes me feel that weird feeling. And I think probably what she was saying was anxiety and uncertainty. Yeah. And none of us like to feel that way.
So the schedule, again, is not microed. It's bigger things. So now as the weeks go on, remember, a habit takes 21 days. They say, and some other people say it's more like 45 days. So we're all going through. Yeah, we're going through this. We're 3 weeks in. Time. Certain things can start to stick out. Like my morning routine, my rhythm for the morning is down. The family knows I have a really important 9 a.m. team call that I am totally focused on. And then at 10 o'clock, Jamie and I are sitting down going over family education stuff. Dinner time has that 5:30 to 7:30 window where all tech is off. And then the little ones know brother time is at this time. There are some big rocks that start to fall, and they are kind of the fasteners. Again, we don't focus on the garnish, focus on the meat and potatoes. That's what's going to get you fed. So it's starting to rise to the surface what's really important for us to keep in our schedule and what's a little bit negotiable, what gives room for fallouts and emergencies and meltdowns, and that's what I highly encourage you to do.
And we're in week 4, and we're on our like 3rd or 4th revision, and like right now I feel like we've been in it enough to think, okay, this is gonna work. Yeah. And so we've kept things like with the schedule. I'm sure that you said revise, but what? I did. Yeah, and so what we've seen is just as some of those big rocks have stuck, like brother time has stuck, our meetings have stuck. And so we see, okay, these things are going to work. What's not working, and what can we build around it differently? So again, just encouraging you that if something starts to not work, be like, all right, and, you don't have to be too tied to it.
And use common sense on this. One thing I'm going to say for family, and again, this is just our family. We want our kids, especially our teens, to stay in touch, be in contact with their friends. We have a budget on how much time they can be on social media and internet every day. And once that goes, that time goes, then it goes blank. It helps them budget. Also during the week, I think it's a really bad idea to turn this into summer vacation. If you're letting your teens sleep till noon or that, I get it, but I think that breaks up rhythm and consistency. The boys can do that on the weekends, but on the mornings, they're up. Because something we've learned as well, they still have schoolwork. And what we've seen is if they eat the frog, I forget who wrote that, Brian Tracy, eat the frog in the morning. They're up, they're doing things. They get so much schoolwork done quickly in the morning. Because they have that initial out of the gates. They're starters, not finishers like me. So we found that if we get them up early, that they, if they do that schoolwork in the morning, it keeps things together more. If we let them sleep till 11 or 12, and then they're trying to catch up on work, and then
and then they're cranky with their younger siblings.
Yeah.
Anyways, it just to keep everybody
just a
on
personal
the
thing. People asked us about that. There's no right or wrong here, guys. We're still learning as well.
It's just what we do.
What we found during the week, they're up because they still have schoolwork. They're getting it done in the morning, and it's creating a lot more relaxation and organization for later in the day.
And I'm not having to ride them like, hey, did you do your whatever? Hey, don't forget about your call that you have. It's just, again, when you set a standard, just like Mexican Monday or Pizza Friday, everybody's like, all right, this is just what we do. Even if we don't like pizza, we eat pizza on Friday. Even if we don't like getting up at 8 on a weekday, that's just what we do. And so again, creating that, I know a lot of people think, oh, it sounds so rigid, but really it gives you the freedom because then you know what to expect and you can work within those parameters.
For sure. So Rhythms and schedules. Keep revising, guys. Revise, revise, revise. Think of the bigger things, the rhythms that really stick for you, and just keep doing those. Don't give them up. If something's really working, exercise in the morning or meditation, make sure you stay with that and honor it.
And align your team. That's another thing that's important. Get buy-in from everybody. Don't just be like, here's the law.
Yeah, no, we co-create. That's one thing. We've co-created the
so
schedule.
then everybody has buy-in. So you ask everyone on your team, whether it's your business team or your family team, like, all right, what do you need? And we do that a lot. You're like, all right, so what do you need to maintain your sanity? And it's like X, Y, and Z. And we do that back and forth so that we can build those big rocks with the boys, with the littles, with each other. And so our calendar takes into account our whole family team, our whole work team, so that everybody has that same buy-in. I think that's an important part.
Important. But at the end of the day, you are the parents, and it has to be some sort of hierarchy. And sometimes you have to make the final say. I'm sure the boys would say, we want to sleep till 10. We explain to them why, and we take into consideration other things, but to keep things going, we make that decision. So rhythms and schedules, ultimately, yeah, we got to make the final say, but take input for sure, and that's okay. Rhythms and schedules, do that. Apologize, guys. I mean, I can't tell you, that's like, we got to break down to simple things. Candid conversation, apologize. Do it quickly and sincerely. Don't do it half-ass. And it will make a huge difference, and it takes 15 minutes of downtime instead of 2 days of downtime or 3 days. What's going on with us? We're continuing to do this. You know, it's going to be an interesting Easter. We're planning to go have an Easter egg hunt in my parents' front yard where they can watch from the porch.
From the window, yeah.
From the window. Well, we'll stay at least 20 feet away. But, you know, try to do little things. I know that I'm contacting a lot of my friends right now. I had some people pass away up north that I'm going to get in touch with over this weekend.
Hey, Holly.
You know, make sure you're reaching out to people and do little things if you can. It might not be normal.
FaceTime.
Or,
I had a friend today post that they were doing an egg hunt in their yard, I guess. I don't know how that works, but kind of the same thing that you're saying. Like, they'll be on the porch. Mm-hmm. You can come by. I don't know how it all works. But it was a neat way to do that. Or, like, people are putting it on their windows, and the kids go through the neighborhood and find all the houses that have an egg on the window. Or, I don't know. There's lots of fun things. If you know something, post it for us, because I'd love to share ideas like this.
Be creative and don't sulk. I mean, to sulk is not going to do much good. So, and encourage your kids to do the same. I mean, yeah, it's okay for them to be down and acknowledge and respect that. Also encouraged to be creative and make the most of. That's what we're going to try to do.
And acknowledge that it's just kind of hard for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, like,
this is a weird time.
It is different. And it's weird for your kids. Like, even though you're like, some people think, oh, what do they have to worry about or complain about? Like, kind of a lot, you know? Yeah. They've got a lot of life to live, and this is a scary... No. Sometimes, you know, they're hearing some big things. Yeah,
so, guys, apologize. Keep hammering down on chiseling out these rhythms and schedules. You know, revise.
Oh, and post yours. If you have if you have a schedule or a rhythm, like, please totally share it with us. We love inspiring each other. We decided, hey, take a video of the sunrise every day and share it. And people have been reaching out to me. Thanks for doing that. We really appreciate it. And it's like, hey, we're here at the beach week. It's the least we can do. So think of little things like that. Keep letting us know what's going on with you. We're going to do the same. And how we can help. Yeah, how we can help. I mean, one of the biggest things reached out was in our interviews and some private conversations and emails, we're starting to get at each other. There's starting to be tension. Okay, let's look at that. And that's what we tried to address this week with you. Apologize. But keep us posted. We'll let you know what's going on with our family. Remember, there is no perfect family. That is the biggest crock that I've ever heard. Perfect family should have never been put together. It's about bridging imperfections, making the most of this time we have together. And there's some sad things going on. But guys, we are home, and most of us are healthy and safe with our families. Let's make the most of it and see what we can do. Yeah. Let us know how we can help. Let us hear from you. Yeah. And share. Yeah, and we will be releasing our interview with Tim Story, which I highly recommend that you do when we talk about Go ahead. I was going to say if you're not on our email list, but we're releasing it here too. We're releasing it here too on our email list, and that Tim Story has an incredible story. If you're not but the 3 steps, he actually pulled some stuff out of me and Jamie, the biggest business meltdown I ever went through, the biggest personal thing. Jamie overcame. It's a good interview. So, and I think you guys will get some inspiration. And some personal notes on us too. Yeah. Learn about us a little more if you want to. Anyway, have a great weekend, guys. Happy Passover, happy Easter. We love you guys. Thanks for joining us. And we'll be here next Friday again for Family Friday. Take care. We'll see you guys. Thanks for joining.